But in the reality show that aired a few years back, there's a very specific couple on there. A couple shows up under the pseudonyms of Vladimir and his wife, Ilana. But they get invited to this exclusive, so Damon is holding a private dinner at his house in the Hollywood Hills, I believe very close to the Playboy Mansion, which would also make it very close to Sean Diddy Combs' house. Here we are again, right? But they will eat, they will watch each other eat, and they will eat... And they will eat other things and watch each other eat other things and then repeat. And not all the steps are obviously involving food. But Vladimir and his wife are seated at the table. These are pseudonyms. It's not Vladimir and Ilana. It's Mark Remley and Tatiana Remley just sitting there in the flesh, okay? Mark Remley says, what Damon has created here is an opportunity for people to open their minds. Tatiana is just staring lovingly at her husband as if he just discovered quantum physics. She's like nodding, and then she chimes in. I'm all about pushing limits, and we're going to follow Sanctum, and we're going to go where it goes and just pursue it and enjoy it and life and pursue ourselves and our love and our romance and our sexuality. And I had zero clue what that meant. And once most of the meal is over with, all prepared by this personal chef that had a Michelin star restaurant, I believe, a violinist walks down the steps of the mansion. And in walk two girls wearing bunny masks, and they're naked. One has the word touch written on her chest. The other one has eat me written on her chest. So it's very like, the directions are pretty clear. They're climbing onto the table. They just start making out before heading into the final act where they're just both like laying on the dinner table doing things. The violinist later says,
they're showing all of this in the show?
You don't, like, you see lots of nudity, but you don't see explicit, but like you see where the placement of body parts are. You infer.
Right, okay.
Obviously, you know, the violinist is standing there and she says, I was just trying to focus on playing the violin really well, which obviously takes a little bit of focus. And then it just like cuts to her playing the violin and her eyes are just staring at the two girls on the dinner table. And I'm like, what am I watching? Then another girl comes in with a maid costume with a cake. The two original girls, somehow there's like giant carrots put inside the cake. They take out the carrots. You know what they do with carrots. And then they're like, there's icing everywhere. And then at one point, Tatiana gets up on the table and starts eating a bunny meal.
Like with one of the girls, you were saying?
Yes, and Mark Remley is just admiring his wife visually and physically, and the camera is like behind her, and he's like lifting up her skirt. I don't know. And then she finally gets up and she jokes, I think I look guilty. And he says, you do. The proof is on your mouth, because she has icing on her mouth now. Then it just cuts to them sitting together outside, and Mark Remley says, the entertainment is bar none. And Tatiana looks really serious, as if she is witnessing a profound, enlightening moment. Beautiful. She's like interjecting, beautiful. He says, the quality of the performers, you know, the sexuality that they exude, it just gets you off. It gets you going. It really does. Tatiana says, the bunnies were beautiful. They're sensuous. There's something enticing about their energy, and it draws me to them. I cannot stop myself. Like all the taboos of this world, everything just dissolves in their energy. And then it cuts to one of the bunnies coming over to hug Tatiana, and Mark is just watching as they just start getting unclothed, and we see Tatiana unclothed, and they just start doing a lot of things. And Mark Remley tells the viewers, you know, sex is probably the biggest part of our lives. Yes. Tatiana's gonna say yes. Sex is the center of our universe, and everything we derive around it, and it revolves around it. And in the beginning of our relationship, we weren't into this lifestyle. But as time grew on and our sexuality grew together, and Sanctum made it all that much more amazing. Mark continues, I'm kind of like an adrenaline junkie, actually. You know, I love to take risks and I love to live life on the edge. I'm drawn to things that push the limits. Tatiana looks at him, and we live life to the fullest every moment we can. I think people have a hard time in this environment, in this country, in this day and time, embracing their sexuality and embracing, you know, being all that you can be. I think they want to embrace it, but they're scared. It's magical. It's amazing. You feel incredible. You feel real. Mark and Tatiana, like I said, Vladimir and Ilana are their pseudonyms.